So when you think of Aphrodite, you probably think goddess of love and beauty, right? But have you ever wondered how her influence really spread? I mean, how did this power, born from the sea, touch every single heart on Earth? Well, the secret? It isn't just about her. It's about her son, Eros. This is the story of how the winged archer became the ultimate key to his mother's legacy. I mean, just listen to that. The living breath of her own essence. That says it all, doesn't it? This wasn't your typical mother-son relationship. Eros was literally a piece of her, the winged embodiment of everything she stood for. Think of it like this. She was the idea, the cosmic force of desire, and he was the action. He was the one who delivered that desire right to your doorstep. It's truly one of the most fascinating partnerships in all of mythology. All right, so here's our game plan for this explainer. We'll kick things off with a lesson in a garden, then get into the two arrows of love. After that, we'll see how beauty became action, how this all creates a map to the heart, and finally, why Aphrodite is still the eternal queen of hearts. Okay, first up, a lesson in the garden. This is where it all begins, and trust me, this is about way more than just target practice. It's a lesson on the very essence of desire. So I want you to just imagine this for a second. A garden where the roses are always in bloom. They never, ever wilt. And in this perfect place, you have Aphrodite herself, the source of all beauty, teaching her son Eros how to use that iconic bow of his. This isn't just a cute family moment. This is the training ground for a power that's going to change the lives of, well, everyone, gods and mortals alike. And what she's teaching him it's just brilliant. It's not about hitting a bullseye. She's telling him love has two critical requirements. First, a steady eye. You have to really see the heart you're aiming for. But second, and this is key, a gentle release. You can't just fire away. It has to be done with care. Otherwise, you risk shattering the very thing you're trying to touch. It's this beautiful metaphor for how delicate and powerful love really is. This whole thing is what we can call the divine torch. It's this incredible passing of power. See, Aphrodite is the big picture, right? She's this huge cosmic concept of beauty itself. But Eros, he's the street-level operator. He's the one who takes that massive abstract power and makes it incredibly personal, aiming it directly at one single heart. He's the delivery guy for desire. All right, so Eros has his mission. But pretty quickly he realizes this job is complicated. The power he's wielding isn't always about sunshine and roses. Love, as he's about to find out, has a dark side. And this leads him to ask this absolutely fundamental question. He looks at his mom, who is the personification of golden joy, and he's confused. Why do my arrows sometimes bring sorrow? And let's be honest, who hasn't felt that? Why does this thing that's supposed to be so beautiful sometimes hurt so much? It's a question that's as real today as it was back then. And Aphrodite's answer is profound. She basically pulls back the curtain on his quiver. She explains he doesn't just have one type of arrow. He has two. You've got the arrows tipped with gleaming gold. Those are the ones that spark passion and joy, the ones we all want. But then there are the others, the ones tipped with heavy lead. And these bring the cold, hard weight of rejection and that deep, aching longing. And she uses this incredible metaphor to explain why. She says love is like the ocean she was born from. It has that beautiful, calm shimmer on the surface, but it also has the crushing, immense pressure of the deep. You can't have one without the other. To really, truly understand beauty, you have to know what it feels like when it's absent. You need the longing to appreciate the joy. So, what's the big takeaway here? It means Eros's job is so much bigger than just being a matchmaker. His real mission, his divine purpose, it's to maintain the emotional equilibrium of the entire universe. He's not just shooting arrows for fun. He's a cosmic balancer, using both joy and sorrow to keep everything in check. That's a heavy responsibility. Okay, so we get it. Eros is a cosmic force with a complicated job. But what did this mean for Aphrodite? Well, this is where he becomes a total game changer, taking her power from something beautiful but stationary to something active and dangerously unpredictable. Think about it. Before Eros, Aphrodite's power was kind of like a magnificent landmark. You had to go to it. It was a presence, for sure, but a static one. With Eros as her winged messenger, suddenly that power was mobile. It was on the move. Her influence could now pop up anywhere, at any moment, and completely alter the course of someone's life. And nobody was immune. Her power, delivered by Eris's arrow, could suddenly pierce the walls of a palace and strike a king. but just as easily it could find a lonely shepherd out in the fields. It shows you that love plays by its own rules. It doesn't care about your status or your wealth. It's the ultimate equalizer. So what you have here is the perfect partnership. It's the complete romantic experience. Aphrodite is the ideal. She's the concept of love, the perfect beauty you dream about. But Eros, he's the actual. He's the zap, the chaotic, messy, life-changing moment it actually happens to you. You need both to have the whole story. Okay, let's pull the camera back for a second. Because this thing with Eros, it isn't just a sweet mother-son story. It's actually the grand finale of Aphrodite's entire mythic cycle. Everything in her story has been leading up to this. I mean, just look at her journey. She has this violent, chaotic origin story bursting from the sea foam. Then she claims her power, her symbols, like the dove and rose. She starts wielding that influence, literally swaying the fate of Troy. And then, for the final, ultimate expansion of her power, she guides her son. This is how she makes her legacy eternal. It's a genius move. And that's the whole point right there. This is how she becomes truly immortal. By giving Eros this power, she's not just one goddess sitting on a mountain anymore. She becomes the self-perpetuating eternal engine of desire, constantly working through her son forever. So why should we care about this ancient story today? What does it all mean for us? Well, let's talk about Aphrodite's enduring legacy, because she is far from just a dusty figure from a myth. Her symbols are everywhere, and they still mean so much. When we see a mirror, it's not just about looking good, is it? It taps into that deeper search for who we are, for our self-worth. A pomegranate isn't just fruit, it's a symbol of a life bursting with passion. And the rose, it's the perfect icon for how love blossoms. The dove, a symbol of the peace that affection can bring. These aren't just ancient symbols, they're part of our shared human language. And maybe this is the most important part of her legacy. Her entire life story, from the violent sea foam to the heights of Olympus, it's a metaphor for us. It shows that we too have the capacity to rise above the mundane, to find something transcendent through love. And that's a pretty incredible thought to leave you with. You know, in a world that can feel full of iron and war, a world that can feel pretty harsh, her story is this shimmering proof that grace and beauty will always, always find a way to rise. They aren't weak. They are some of the most resilient forces in the universe. So, in the end, her story is so much more than a myth. It's a map to the most profound, complex landscapes of our own hearts. And it leaves us with one final thought to ponder. When you look at that map, what does it reveal about yours?